Hi, today we're going to talk about a topic that comes up a lot but I think is very misunderstood, and that is the topic of mindfulness. Mindfulness is not some new age topic, although it does have a connection to meditation and presence and all those sorts of things. But today we're going to talk about mindfulness in terms of its ability to help us navigate life. How do we make choices and decisions, and how can mindfulness be a tool in doing that? Mindfulness is really the ability to bring our mind to the same place that our body is. That sounds like an interesting way of talking about it. I'm not sure if you've ever sat across a dinner table or in a meeting or with a friend, and you can see their bodies there, but the rest of them isn't. They seem to be MIA, missing in action. And the truth is, we can get very locked up in our heads. And when we are in our heads are often not in the present moment. Our body is, but our mind is wandering. It is wandering through time and space, thinking about things that have happened in the past and predicting what things are going to happen in the future. Now, the truth is, reflecting on the past can be a great tool for gaining insight and wisdom. But when we live in the past, rehashing the past, whether it's yesterday or whether it was when I was 5 or when something happened to me, we can live in a place of sadness, regret, frustration, misery, shame. These emotions are not challenging. These emotions are not the problem, but the reality is we're experiencing an emotion now about something that happened, not something that is. And again, we're not going to make that a bad thing. It's just if we're living there. In the same way, our mind can go into a whole lot of predictive stories about the future. We can go into stories about the future that we want to create, the future that we're imagining, the future that we're desiring. And we can also go into what I call the what if stories. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if there's an earthquake? What if I die? What if I never ever find what I'm looking for in life? Those what if stories can cause quite a lot of pain and trauma again in the current moment. And so our bodies, in the current experience, are responding often not to reality, not to what is actually going on around us, but to the stories of our mind. And so mindfulness helps us deal with reality. It helps us use our energy to face what is presently going on in our lives. And so when we get mindful, we bring our mind to where our body is. We connect with the emotions that are accurate around what is going on in the current moment. And we can get present in the now. That is at the heart of empowerment. Again, just to be clear, we're not making the reflective process of the past or the desiring process of looking to our future bad. We just need to know that's what we're doing. And mindfulness, again, can help us know, oh, that's about then or then. So how do we do this thing called mindfulness? And what's important in it? As a starting point, there's 3 A's that give us access to mindfulness. The first thing is we have to become aware. Awareness is about noticing what is going on now. It can also be noticing what is going on in our mind now, what is going on in our body now, what is going on around us now. Awareness is about bringing our focus to be outward, not inward. Just scanning, allowing ourselves to notice. Awareness has also got to do with naming. Being able to say, this is what is going on for me. The next A is acceptance. It is what it is. We don't have to fight it. We don't have to resist it. We don't have to say it shouldn't be that way. Stop it. Just don't do that. We can just become accepting of, even if I am ruminating about the past or fearful of the future, I can just name that and accept it as part of what's going on for me right now. And then bring my body into the awareness, nothing is going on right now, and to accept what is. Acceptance is the doorway to power. Most of us live our lives in a resistant state, resisting reality, thinking it should be different to how it is. When we look at meditation as a tool for mindfulness, often people think meditation is a tool of no thought. That is not true. It's a tool of accepting the thoughts that are going on in your mind and not fighting them. The third A, which is a really important part of mindfulness, is the ability to start taking accurate action. We often live in a highly reactive state in our world, quite adrenaline-filled, reacting to all the stimulus that is going on around us, particularly the stimulus of the mind. When we become aware of what's going on and we can accept what's going on, we can interrupt that reactive state and sit down and say, okay, how do I want to respond? What choices do I have? What would be the accurate action that I can start to take? And so this is a creative process. Mindfulness leads to the ability to create the life that you want to live. Reactiveness keeps you in a state of recreating everything that is going on. So mindfulness interrupts habits. Mindfulness says, is it working? Do you want more? What else could I do? What choices do I have? So here are 5 ways that you can practice mindfulness. All of these are quick. I'm going to encourage you to put into your day 5-minute practices for mindfulness. It doesn't have to be a 3-hour meditation. 5 minutes of mindfulness starts to develop a practice that allows you to start making different choices in your life. So the first way we can do this is, how often do you play? Children don't have to practice mindfulness. Animals don't have to practice mindfulness because they're inherently willing to play with the world. Playfulness can be laughter. It can be sharing a joke with a friend. It can be playing around with your animals and your children. Whatever accesses that innocent part of you that just plays with life, that is one of the most powerful ways to get into a mindful place. The second, and this is more deliberate, is to connect in with your senses. Remember I said that mindfulness is the ability to bring your mind to where your body is. Your 5 senses bring you directly to the present moment to notice what is going on for you. And so to interrupt what is happening and to say, what do I see around me? What do I hear? What do I feel? That can be the emotions in me, but it can also be, do I feel cold? Do I feel pain? What do I feel going on in my body? What do I taste? What do I smell? 5 minutes of attention to your senses brings you directly in alignment with the truth of what's going on for you now and asks you to take care of yourself or the environment that you're in. It's a great tool for when you feel stuck, when you're trying to find a solution to a problem and you don't know what to do. Just pay attention to the real world, the world that is going on right now. The next is breath. We have this amazing tool at our disposal called our breath. Now, most of us breathe just for survival. There's an automatic system that happens in our body where our breathing just is taking care of us. But intentional breath brings us into the experience of aliveness. And aliveness is always only happening in the present moment. We can't be alive in the past. And we only know what it will be like to be alive in the future when we get there. So when we access our breath, it's a great way of really allowing ourselves to surrender into the current moment. 2 breathing techniques that are very powerful for mindfulness is one is called the cube breathing. This is the 4x4 breathing, where you take a breath in for the count of 4, you hold it to the count of 4, you release it to the count of 4, and you hold for the count of 4. And guess what? You do that 4 times. And just giving yourself some space to let the body come back into a place of response rather than reaction. Another wonderful tool that I love to use is one where you can draw your breath. You take a piece of paper, and for 2 minutes or 5 minutes, depending on how long you want to, you simply, on a piece of paper, draw a line up for any breath in and a line down for out, and in and out. And you let the pen become a response to your breathing. You don't have to alter your breathing. It may alter by itself, but the pen, your mind and your body and your heart all get into a rhythm through that process. The 4th tool that I'd offer you is doodling. Mindless and mindful doodling is the same thing. Doodling can be intentionally drawing repetitive patterns. It can be just scribbling on a piece of paper. I worked with a corporate team, and I introduced them to some mindfulness practices. And the CEO got so excited about the idea of doodling that she went and bought a set of colored pens and just some books. And every time I did a session with her afterwards, she'd show me all her doodles. And she said her life had radically transformed just from having pen and paper on her desk. And whenever she felt like she was stuck or bored or resistant, she would doodle. Hearts, trees, flowers, symbols, it doesn't matter. Just doodling, letting yourself experience this. This is the gift of adult coloring books. It's the same experience of just coloring. It brings everything into alignment and accesses a part of us that's creative and allows us to find new ways of dealing with the challenges we're dealing with in our lives. It's got a very similar energy to journaling. And the last tool I'd like to offer you today is move. If you're feeling like you're stuck, you don't really know what to do, and you want to get into the present moment, get up from wherever you are and go for a walk for 5 minutes. Go outside, go to the kitchen, make a cup of tea, do something. You can even go and have a nap if that's really going to help you. Sometimes napping is about avoiding, but sometimes napping is about reconnecting to the moment. Just taking a break and walking around, getting a hug if you're around somebody who's there. Just letting yourself remember you have a body, and your body has wisdom too. And your body has energy that can unleash creativity for you. It can bring you to a place of wisdom and insight. So mindfulness is about integration. It's about knowing that your body, your heart, your mind, and your spirit all need to be in the same place at the same time for you to be at your most powerful. Sending you lots of love. Namaste.